So we're gonna do a little story time today. I'm gonna talk to you about something that happened with one of my sister's clients. As some of you guys know, my sister is a mortgage lender as well. She's actually up in the Washington area, and she specializes in a type of income called RSUs, restricted stock income. It is a very specialized type of lending. Most people don't even know what it is. You guys probably don't know what it is right now, but here's the bottom line. She does something that most people don't understand. Okay? Important. It's important that you guys know if you're getting a loan and you have a sort of income or situation that's not vanilla, you want to be working with a specialist in that type of income. Okay? Very important. Now, story time. This is a rate shopping gone wrong story. Okay? And look, I do think you guys should rate shop, but I think you guys need to be smart about it. And I see a lot of people who understand that experience, having a good lender and a great rate is a good thing. But then I see other people who are just blinded by rate. They don't look at anything else. All they look at is rate, and it can often end in their detriment because there is more to this puzzle than, 0.05 on the rate. Okay, so what happened? Okay, so my sister had this client, they were in contract, meaning that they were in a contract to purchase a house, okay? And it was supposed to close in 10 days. My sister had everything dialed in, they were just waiting for the closing, underwriting's done, appraisal's done, everything's done, perfect, okay? She gets a call from the client. Hey, I was just talking to XYZ call center. Seriously, guys, it was a call center. And they said they can beat your rate by XYZ. Can you match their rate? Well, my sister couldn't. She had already locked. And that's what you guys need to understand. Rates change every single day. And when we lock you, we have less ability to do anything. So in this situation, the market had dropped a smidge on a day. And my sister was like, I can't, she couldn't. She couldn't do it. So the woman goes, okay, I'm switching over to them. My sister goes, are you sure you want to do that? It was like, guys, it was like a nominal difference, like laughable difference. And she's like, yes, I want to switch. And my sister goes, of course, because we want to respect you guys. We respect you guys. We'll always do what you want. We'll say things like, you're 10 days from closing. This isn't like, this could go wrong. Like, you want to be careful, but ultimately it's your decision. You are the boss, right? Okay. So when you tell us you're going to another lender, we cancel your loan as per your, direction, and we cancel your lock. Okay, which means whatever we had you locked at, it's bye. It disappeared. Okay, so she's going to this other lender. Cool. What could be the problem? I mean, my sister got it approved, right? Can't anyone? No. I mean, the short answer is no. So my sister gets this panic call 15 days later. Okay. Now remember, they were supposed to close in 10 days. It's the same client. And the client's like, oh my God, they just denied our loan. And my sister goes, okay, tell me what happened. So they tell her what happened. Well, here's what had happened. So the lender, this call center lender, had put the client, this was a jumbo loan, with an investor that wouldn't count RSU income. Yeah. Now, my sister knows this investor doesn't count that income, but the call center guy didn't. So the call center guy who pried this client away from her, right, put him in a loan they don't even qualify for because he didn't know his guidelines. Yeah. So they waste all this time. They have to order a new appraisal. They pay for 2 appraisals, right? And then they deny them. Okay, so she's coming back to my sister going, hey, can you still do it? My sister's like, of course I can, but I canceled your lock because you had canceled with us. We have to cancel your lock. And she goes, okay, well, what's the rates now? Dude, that is not a question you want to ask in 2022. If 2 weeks passes, if 24-hour passes, rates could be a quarter, 0.5% higher. In this case, rates were over 0.5% higher than where she originally locked, and there was a point charge to it. And it wasn't like my sister being vindictive or anything else. That's how much the market had moved. Okay. And so this poor client had left to try to chase this lower rate, which really was never real because it was with an investor that wouldn't do that type of loan. How's the client supposed to know that, right? There's no way they would. So, they end up back with Sarah. Sarah takes care of it. They close it, no problem. But here's the thing that sucked for the client. Client ends up with a higher rate. Client ends up with higher fees. And the seller's like, dude, you switched lenders in the middle of this transaction and now you want more time? Like, I'm gonna charge you a per diem. So by the time it came back to my sister, they were already charging the borrower a couple $100s a day to extend the loan. Okay, so what's the moral of the story? Pretty simple. You need to make sure that the lender you're working with is competent. And if you guys have anything non-vanilla about your loan, you need to make sure the lender specializes in that. Okay, there's a reason I don't do construction loans. I do not specialize in them. If I try to do a construction loan for you, I will fail you and disappoint you because it is not my specialty. In this situation, this lender didn't know the guidelines, so they lured the client over with a lower rate that wasn't even real. It's so upsetting. When we were talking about this, my sister was very upset for the client. I was very upset for the client. How do you think that lender felt? Who knows? Look, they cost them thousands and thousands and thousands. Actually, if I did the math on it, I think it would probably be over $50,000 over 10 years that it cost the client just by that whole switch in the middle, the higher interest rate, the per diem, the interest rate my sister originally had her locked with was a lot lower, but the market's moving that fast. So the point beyond, guys, yeah, rate is important. I think you should rate shop. I think you should always make sure you're not getting taken advantage of, because there are some lenders that will take advantage of you. But I also think, number one, if you're in contract, okay, and you're 10 days from closing, you're done shopping. You're done shopping. And from my perspective, it's always tough too, because I'll get someone and they'll be like, hey, I'm supposed to close in a week, but I just wanted to check my rate. And they tell me what their rate is. And I'm like, oh, you guys really don't want to do this, because sometimes their rate is really high, but it doesn't matter. They're supposed to close in 7 days. They have no choice. So once you are in contract and you are locked, just accept it and stay. The market is so volatile right now that assuming that a rate you leave on Monday may be there on Tuesday, it's a bad assumption to make. The only time it can make sense changing lenders during contract is if you're moving to a lender that also specializes and you're within the first 3 days. So we see that with VA a lot. There's a specific lender that won't give out what their fees or rates are until you're in contract, unless you twist their arm. Seriously, that's one of the VA biggest lenders. So we will have people switch in that first week once they go, oh my God, what are they trying to charge me? But beyond that, beyond those first few days, you do not want to switch unless you're switching to another specialist. And I know it's hard for you guys to know that. So in many cases, it's so hard to even get your offer accepted right now. If you are getting close to closing and your rate's already locked, close. Don't torture yourself over 1/8% or 0.005. If you're in a position and you just get into contract and it's day one, shop. That's your time to shop. But when you're shopping for rate, you also need to shop for skill level and competency. Because here's the thing, being a lender is a sales gig. So it's not hard for people to sound like they're super competent and amazing, but reviews will always tell you the truth. Okay? If that individual lender has no reviews about them individually, right? Be afraid. Seriously, be afraid. I wouldn't risk my house on it. I wouldn't risk my refinance on it. If the individual lender has no reviews, be afraid. If that client had followed that little piece of advice, none of this would have happened. Okay, so I know this was a little wild video, but if Sarah was upset about it, I was upset about it. The client has their house, thank God, but it was just so unnecessary and just not positive. So we want to make sure when you guys are rate shopping, you're doing it right. Thanks for watching. As always, questions, comments, thoughts, feelings, throw them in. Do you like the way I point? YouTube's just always on there. Throw them in. I'm happy to help. I'm licensed in 48 states to do loans. I only do loans that I know how to to do, and if I don't, I will usually refer you to someone, or I'll say, hey, I don't specialize in that, but this person does. Thanks for watching, guys.